Hello, everybody. It's Remington Huggins. We got Matthew Mulholland here, and this is probably the most excited I've ever been for a show.
Really?
I'll be honest with you. I'm pumped. We have a couple other individuals, some guests that will be coming on. We will formally introduce them once their beautiful faces are up on the screen. And I'm just as excited about the announcement.
You said immediately we'd introduce them as soon as they put it on the screen.
We got Matt Behrens from C3.
That's that guy.
What's that?
That's that guy.
And we have Frank Dalton from Coastal Claims here.
That's that guy.
Super excited for these guys. If you can't see their names, Matt's the one with the mohawk. Frank Dalton's the one that looks like, what does he look like? What actor does he look like?
Frank Dalton?
Clint Eastwood.
What?
No, I got nothing.
A better looking Clint Eastwood.
You are a suck up.
Matt, has anybody ever told you that you looked like somebody ever before?
I got told I look like Robert Norton before. I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't get it. Do you know
Okay.
who Robert Norton is?
If I
No.
saw a picture,
The-
probably.
He doesn't.
No.
The second to last Hulk.
You guys offended Matt enough, he hung up.
Oh, man.
Shit, Remington?
No more mohawk talk.
Yeah, no kidding.
He'll be on. He's in the middle of the move, guys. Let's give him some slack here. Right?
Hopefully this is working out.
Look, we'll just get the first 5 minutes in to talk about cool stuff. He'll get back on.
He's just waiting for y'all to get to the point.
Yeah, I hear you.
So this is a question and answer show, so anybody that's watching this needs to understand
I just
that
lost all the audio.
Say again?
Dude, that's-
Did you lose your audio again?
Got it back.
All that effort we put into this. I'm going to pour my beer, and by the time I'm done pouring, all of our tech issues will be gone.
Please send me one of those to Florida.
You want me to ship you a beer? It's going to be a skunk beer by the time it gets there.
I think you Uber it.
Dry ice takes care of a lot of things,
I think
guys.
you can get Yingling across the street from you.
That'd be an
Yingling.
expensive Uber.
That's all we're drinking today. We're not fancy today. Just Yingling. So this is a live show. Our goal is to take questions, any questions, and answer them live. So if you have a question for Matt Behrens, who will probably be back on at some point, Frank Dalton or Remington Huggins with Huggins Law Firm, or Matt Mulholland, listen to this bull. Either one of us about anything, we'd be happy to take those questions and answer them live. Today's topic is about the C3 Group C2 partnership and all good acquisition with listen to this bull and how things are all going to work out that way. So there's a big topic there.
Certainly. Huge. I'm, I'll let you formally, if people were not at the actual Win the Storm or weren't following live, they haven't heard yet, but I feel like we need to wait for Matt Behrens to be here, before.
What'd you think about Win the Storm, Frank?
Spill the beans.
I tell you what, it was pretty darn cool with everything with COVID and a lot of the concerns with travel and whatnot. Hats off to the staff there and Anthony and his crew for pulling it off and for everyone showing up at the event. It was pretty darn neat. The only thing about Win the Storm I'll say is it may have been a pale comparison to your breakout session, which was like standing room only in the hallways. But seriously, it was an awesome breakout, man.
It was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, I went back and I was, we just got a message from Matt, he'll be back. We got done. I didn't even remember that it happened, but you were telling me there was a standing ovation. Frank said
There
that
was.
was the case.
That is correct.
Desiree was busy poking me to remind me of something, so I wasn't paying attention. But we freaking brought that.
You literally had people standing out in the general admission hallway listening. As
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't see them, obviously. That's a bullshit location to stand.
It was an awesome breakout.
My hat's off to you, man. You did a great job. And, a lot of people don't get to see, and I think maybe they would believe there's an ulterior motive when people want to just go out there and spread some wealth of knowledge and give what they've gotten and get to teach.
Yeah.
But
My very
there
last
was
slide didn't even have our phone numbers or email on it, so clearly it wasn't a solicitation.
No.
right.
That might have been a huge failure of mine personally, but maybe Maybe we'll pretend it was on purpose.
The energy was brought for sure. Energy and education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My hat's off, literally, to your whole crew there. It was awesome, man. It was
You had a
really-
great breakout yourself, Frank. It was at a weird time, so
My breakout was a little different. You know, the attendance was down. The room
And
was
it was-
smaller.
it was
And it was
specifically
late
meant
as
for
hell.
Florida.
Yeah, and it was Florida specific.
And then there was a guy in there that wasn't from Florida, and he didn't.
Or
get back
Texas
at the
guy.
memo.
As soon as he found out, he was.
Yeah, it's like, oh, nah, never mind, I'm leaving. And then like 3 other people left. You think they were from Florida?
Probably. They're probably like, no, man, it was, yeah, I think there was a handful of folks that made it in there just because of the do's and don't tagline with UPPA. But there was a lot of good stuff there. And, you know, it was fun. And I had a great time. It was a great event. The adjuster panel was a hell of a lot of fun. And,
I'm going to pull Matt back in real quick.
yeah.
There he is.
Matt,
Now you get that beautiful spot.
In Frank's generation here. I finally got internet. Now technology is a pain.
Do you hear that?
it's a little fuzzy.
Now I hear it in your voice. Now my voice.
I think it's a back sound off of Mr. Behrens, maybe. I don't know.
Am I getting killed over here?
Testing.
Why do you guys keep making him hang up?
Now I somewhat hear it still. I wonder if it's him. I'm going to mute him. Did that change it?
This is like turn to the Frank Dalton Intimate Invitational. Okay.
If we just keep it muted the whole time. I don't know if you can hear that on your end, Olivia.
I can't.
You can't? Okay, it might just be my headset.
Speaking of
Play
winning
as if
the
it's not
storm, Matt, look at those 3 trophies there next to that flag, buddy.
Look at that.
That's a lot of trophies. Do they all say $1 million producer?
Now there's a B in there.
All
I'll
of
be
the
back.
trophies that win the storm said $1 million producer on them.
I'm gonna have to be back again.
Every single one of them. And they, well, the audience hears the thing.
Oh, clearly he married up from that picture.
He did. He did. I'm going to back my mic up.
It's back.
Hey, actually, I read way too loud. Oh, bless you.
How was everyone's trip home? Did you guys all make it home? I know I talked to a lot of other folks traveling back from the conference, and man, everyone just spread back out throughout the country.
We got that entire booth basically squeezed into the back of that van, just as tight as can be. You couldn't have done any better with it, and now we're headed back
Like a glove, right?
like a glove. So I don't know if we can still hear this audio reverb that's going on. It's kind of weird on my ear, but these headsets are a little bit wonky sometimes.
I'm not hearing it over here.
You do?
He said he does.
No, I'm not.
No, he doesn't. Okay. All right, Matt's back. Maybe.
I'm trying to be.
Feel like that. All
Is
right.
that better
Nice.
at all?
Ugh. No.
I'm working on it.
I don't know what
I
the
can
hell is.
ramble while he works.
We're going to make one hell of an announcement in a second. It's just,
Hey,
I
man.
tell you what, Matt, if you'll just do this, I'll put the words in.
We're
There you go.
redefining having our shit.
I'm
together.
Mr. Ed. It was worth a shot.
Again, he's in
So-
the moving. Got to cut
so
him a
let's-
little slack.
Let's talk a little bit about the bull branding.
Yeah. So, can we get too far into that without having the announcement made? Shall we just say it? We'll bring Matt in after, and he can answer some questions as that comes up. So, Matt Behrens with C3 Group has acquired my PA firm, All Good Adjustments, and we are basically absorbed in. We're now powered by C3, which is great because they're an amazing company, and I feel very good about my clients being handled. And then I personally am producing for Listen to This Bull now pretty much full time, a little bit of PA work on the side, but not nearly as much. Frank with Coastal Claims, who does residential work pretty much nationwide, has now had a partnership with C3 and is rebranding as C2 nationwide. Is that right?
Yeah, so we're working collaboratively together. A lot of really good intermingling of the staff and the resources. And, Coastal, oddly enough, one of the first times I spoke with Matt, I said, it was perhaps Kismet. Coastal Claims' main logo is two C's. And during the process of us vamping on ideas and figuring out a good general branding market, because the last thing anyone needs is a bunch of marketplace confusion. We kind of took that as the fact that is our main moniker. So we went ahead and acquired that name on advisement of one of the smartest people I've ever met. His last name is Mulholland, I think. But if you remember,
I know that guy.
But so from the national marketing, it'll be Coastal C2. I believe eventually, no different than calling McDonald's or Mickey D's or something. People will call it whatever the hell they want, but that will be our national branding model. And keep a little bit of lanes and direction for people to funnel into, or follow into, rather, guide rails, if you will, to know what mothership company gets what claims and where they live. But there's so much more behind the scenes that we're doing together and collaboratively, and kind of pushing out to the market. So
it's massive.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So, we've all taken quite a bit of time going over this, and we're going to be rolling out states over the next 4 to 6 months, as we spoke of. What states get turned on and what proximity, and we don't want to leave insureds or contractors hanging in the wind on things, and want to make sure that compliance is the key component. It's the non-sexy component of public adjusting, the stuff that happens behind the scenes, but making sure that everything state specific has hit its requirements, and the educational product that gets out there keeps moving. So that's a soft and form way of saying I have technology. I hate technology. But yeah, so it's going to be some good product, and we're looking forward to see what it can do for the marketplace and to help out those people that always thought anything under $100,000, or everyone's got this fake number or mythological number they have that you don't go to a lawyer with, or you don't go to a PA with. We don't necessarily take that stance. I mean, we do $500 supplements and $400,000 tile roofs. It just doesn't matter.
I mean, the huge benefit here is that we've got basically one conglomerate that can handle any size claim and handle it well. You've got the best of both worlds. You've got the best residential public adjuster, arguably the best residential public adjuster group, working the residential claims, arguably the best commercial large loss claims group, handling the commercial stuff, arguably the best podcast ever.
Agreed.
Of all time.
Agreed.
And educational channel for PAs and contractors, and put all that together, and we've got a platform that we can really make some waves here as we expand in from state to state, and we're going to do that fairly rapidly. I think that'll be something that happens quickly. But as we do that, we'll be able to handle everything. So if a contractor is just tired of dealing with the bull and they want to give us their full book of business, we can literally take the full book of business. How many PAs can say that? Almost none. Almost none. So I think this is a big deal. It definitely is a game changer. So
it is. It's. I don't know. I think a lot of people get this weird. I'll let you read. I think a lot of people get this weird conception of, I got to hurry up and go handle this. Matt saying he doesn't want to do residential, or me saying that we don't want to do commercial. I worked in construction the majority of my younger life, and I did high rises. That's all I know from a construction standpoint. But, to handle commercial claims would be doing a disservice to our client base. So finding people that are comfortable with their swim lanes and don't get offended by not being, that's not my claim. But to have an entity that can handle those, and then an entity that's spread out properly. There were just an awful lot of stars that aligned here. And, I have a theory with setting up, from reading franchise agreements and marketplace strategies and all the stuff we do, late at night when you're laying in bed. You just read about business and you're addicted to this. And you know, the worst thing we could do is find 2 large PA firms in Florida and connect them that do the same thing. You know, could you imagine if the Beatles just had 4 drummers? You know, it's
That would be a badass drummer
make
band, though.
right? So, you know, finding those connection pieces, but also keeping those hopscotch connections open. So making sure that we can get folks from this area over to this area rapidly, or this area to this area, and then offer that infrastructure and support is a very big part of the componentry as
The
well.
big key here is what Matt's saying, is servicing of the claims. You know, there's plenty of large PA firms that have gone nationwide. There's plenty of PA firms that claim that they could actually do this thing, where they take on every claim under the sun, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, they've disappeared a year later, 2 years later, and they've fizzled out because they took too many claims on. They didn't have enough people to actually service the claims, and it was a big problem. You know, this is something that I know that we're all very cognizant of. We know what kind of volume we can handle. We know when we get to that point, we've got to stop. But the volume that we can handle is enormous. It's really big. It's a large amount. And we're going to be able to do it in such a way that processes are down, that it's all done properly. No one's left in the dust. No one's dropped. No, I'm super excited about this. Right?
Yeah, it's great.
You
And, you know,
can't have 2 better companies involved. This is going to be fabulous. It's just fabulous.
Here's my 2 cents before you say something, Frank. This is me on the outside looking in, right? I was not a part of C3. I was not a part of Coastal Claims. I wasn't a part of All Good Adjustments. But I've known All Good Adjustments and their employees for many years. I met C3 and a lot of their adjusters or staff. Same with Coastal Claims. And not only can you guys handle the volume, and that was kind of the idea behind coming together, having this collaboration to move forward. But I'm being honest, these are 3 great companies with 3 great just staffs. These are great people. This isn't just, hey, let's just group together just to move a bunch of volume. I'm talking, you got A+ type people with A+ type product, and you can't go wrong with that. And I'm being serious. I mean that sincerely, guys.
So am I like an alpha plus male?
Hey, however you want to view that, A+ is always good in my
that a
book.
thing?
Yeah.
I'm an alpha male.
I think
I'm an
calling you
alpha
A
plus.
didn't
Bitch.
necessarily mean alpha males.
That's not what he meant.
specifically.
And that's not what I meant.
I got
So
balls.
are we changing the name now to A+? Not kidding.
So no, it couldn't happen to 3 better companies,
that what-
especially your staff. I'm pumped, guys. I really am.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna
So-
be doing great things.
So I just want to know
My-
if we're going to end up being C4 or C1.
I think that's a really bad idea. C4 doesn't lend for a good thing.
No?
I'm going to
Blow this
vote
shit
against
up.
that.
So Josh Friedman says, we won't take a contractor unless it is the entire book of business. Smart. It just makes sense to have that partnership, and there are enough contractors who have seen the value and increased their sales volumes tremendously by not having to deal with claim management. I agree, actually.
There's a reason we all think Josh is a smart person.
He is a smart.
He is a smart man.
I hired him when I was a roofing contractor many, many years ago, and this was when Atlas Chalets were not really well known in Georgia, and he actually taught me what an Atlas Chalet shingle was. Anyway, we killed it that year, and then he started his own company, the schmuck. So,
Hey,
friends.
the hat. Will you put this comment up real quick one more time?
Yeah.
I just want to point something out here, guys. Look at the last sentence here, or the last couple words. It said volume tremendously by not having to deal. It should have said with the bull.
yeah, Josh, give it
Come
a try,
on,
man.
Josh. That you messed up just one little portion of that, bud. One little portion. Other than that, you're pretty spot on, man.
Yeah, no, Josh brings up a good point. It's a pitfall. I mean, book of business is a big thing. First off, you want those deep vetted relationships, but second off, nobody needs to be a parking ground for 65 or 70 old claims or something along those lines. But I think you read your cooperative work partners in the marketplace and you get to know them, and that's the goal everyone shoots for. And again, we all think Josh is a smart man for a reason. It's a smart comment.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What is Matt saying here?
He's
Lean
saying
towards that microphone and talk a little bit.
it's
Hello.
taking all of the best parts of each of our companies
It's not you.
and placing the talent into right areas. Everyone you talk to is specifically in a role they love within our companies. Leads right into collaboration and what this looks like for the PA industry.
You know, I
Yeah,
like Behrens' voice.
Matt's analogy there is when you're running late and your keys are in the drawer in the kitchen and you keep overlooking it. What we managed to put together here has been so desperately needed for so long in this industry, and then you have that aha moment. But it is. I mean, we've had this running mission statement here at Coastal forever in meetings is like we exploit everyone's strengths and we cradle their weaknesses. And my staff is so sick of hearing me say that, but it's true. If someone excels in an area, we're going to put them in that area. And if they're weak in an area, you cradle it. You find other staff. You create workflows to support it.
So Josh Freeman brought up something on a forum earlier today that I thought was pretty smart. You know, we're dealing with an industry right now where the small PA is being picked on in such a way that they may go out of business. So if an insurance carrier wants to pick on a PA and get them out of business, the easiest way to do that is to just not pay them for a while, because eventually they're not going to be able to survive without income, especially if they're a small PA. They don't have very much going on. And it seems to be that that's getting worse. And it almost feels sometimes like we at all could have witnessed this many times over the years, but it seems to be an issue where the carriers it's almost like they're collaborating with each other. Like they're talking to each other and they're doing whatever they can to just get those PAs out of business, those pesky little PAs, get them out of here.
They're in
You know,
cahoots.
it feels that way. And
I
the
see.
weird part about that is that, look, a company like this, where there's this enormous presence now, we've got this collaboration between C3 and C2, and the amount of claim volume that can be handled during that, the amount of clout that comes with it, I think that we're fairly insulated from that kind of an issue at this point. So I don't know. I know that I've had a lot of PAs reach out to me in the last week asking how they can get involved. I don't know if you've had the same issue, Frank, but yeah, I mean, we're looking for PAs. We definitely aren't going to turn anybody down if they're worth their salt. So, I mean, if you're a PA and you're looking for a big team to be a part of, someone that knows what they're doing, that can train you properly, that'd be a good idea to reach out to us.
You hit on like four things there. First off, it's to be part of, not work for, be part of. And that's key. On these younger or smaller or newer PAs, I see, and I don't know, I want to get your guys' feedback on this. I do a lot of like outreach and stuff and helping out. People help me out, the whole shebang. I see a lot of the younger ones. I hear these remarks often. Well, I did this and da-da-da-da-da, and they didn't answer. So I sent a complaint to the Department of Insurance or the CFO. And I think that a lot of younger PAs, it's kind of like a one-trick pony thing with that. When you really need to do that, if it's relevant, that's one thing. But if your response every time you don't get a favorable outcome or you don't get a rapid response or even a reasonable response is to put a complaint in with the Department of Insurance, I think you get on their radar. And my dad had this one favorite saying, and it was long way back. He was trying to get an extra ticket on a big construction project. And the guy pulled him aside and he said, "Hey, Frank," I'm a junior, by the way. He said, "Do me a favor." He said, "Don't get in a pissing match with someone that's got more piss than you, son." And the guy was trying to tell him he had enough money to wait him out. And that's the thing, like with insurance companies, and I'll kind of quote Jack Hanks here, man. We're kind of the toothpick opposed to the sword sometimes, but you may not want to get in a pissing match with someone that's got a lot more piss than you, because they will. I don't know if they're collaborating. I'm not implying, but if you're just nasty to talk to and they cringe every time they see the phone or you had a complaint filed against you. And when I worked on the staff side, I had guys do that with me, file complaints. You know what that does? It slows things down, especially if it's not a legitimate complaint.
Yeah.
Sky is falling, et cetera. So I see a little bit of that with some of the younger PAs, but I also see some insurance companies, in my opinion, that maybe they're just doing it because they can. So last thing I want to real quick jump on, and you said, and we'll explore this more, the educational component. So we had announced way back last year, we were buying a new facility and going into it. We were going to have campus plus virtual school educational format. There's a lot of new fun things that we are not going to talk about today with that are coming up, but we still intend on having classes opening before year's end. And that education, man, that is key. Getting people together and getting a real product and getting it to them where they can use it. So anyways, that was the 4 things you went across.
Yeah. Education is so important. It's been something that's been really, really important to me for a while. You too. I mean, how many times have we had that discussion where we're just, what's the best content we can provide really is giving it all away. There's really no reason to hold back. It's not like we're going to lose business because of it. The reality is that we're David and they're Goliath.
I hate them.
We're a tribe of Davids.
I hate that Matt's not on here.
The best part about that, at least what I noticed while we were at Win the Storm after this announcement happened, is there's so many PAs that came and said, hey, I've learned a lot from all of these companies.
Yeah.
All good. You, Behrens, Frank, they get so much from all of y'all already that they look at that as, wonderful for them.
I learned large loss from C3.
Yeah.
And they were fantastic and always willing to get on the phone with us. Matt's got a comment here, and I don't want to ignore it. Our industry tends to hold on to their secrets. He did the quotes. So. And never really share their knowledge. We specifically set out almost a decade ago to learn this business and teach others how to do it. Bottom line, the industry needs more of us. It needs less ego and more discussions on adequate education, data, and processes. Less flashy sales and more actually doing what this job requires. I agree.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I might have an ego to go with it, but I'm definitely teaching everything that I know. Some people ask me if I ever really hold back, and they always assume that I am. They assume that I'm not telling them everything. The only reason I might not tell you everything is because you're not ready for it, and I think I'm talking over your head sometimes, because I do that.
The only time I'm not telling everything is because I don't want opposing counsel to be listening to this.
Yeah.
And that is the God honest truth.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm letting it go. If I have any counsel that contacts me about how to do things in a particular state, I'm taking that call. I'm sending them templates. I'm letting them know if it's a public adjuster, if it's a contractor says, am I above board? Is this legal? I'm there to have that conversation with them every single time. So yeah, it's huge. Really
Have
is.
you ever had opposing counsel actually talk to you about this show? Has that happened
About this particular show? No, I
about
think
any content you've
and
had?
you know what? Content that I've done it like Gapia or some others like that. I've had people say some comments, but I think it would be in their best interest not to say that they're using this content against me at the end of the day, right? Because then I would kind of be a little bit more sheltered on what I say. Or cut off on what I say. But
Frank, I just muted you for a second just to see if it was your speakers that were causing the issue.
Is it?
And I think it might be. We've been kicking Matt off, and it might be Frank that's actually the issue.
Well, let me see here. I can try
I
turning
think that
volume
you've
down.
got a...
Yeah, maybe.
yeah. Hey, Matt Behrens, get back on, and we'll kick Frank off for a while. How about that? It's only fair.
Leave him in.
Are you still getting? I turned
James.
the.
Nope, that sounds way better. Whatever
James.
you did.
James Strain
Okay, I
worked for us.
just cut the volume down.
That might have actually, that did it.
I don't hear that.
I know
after.
you turned it up because you couldn't hear us because you have old man ears, but
No, you're just a soft-spoken man.
that's what
Maybe
it
you
is.
should dig deep and
A
really project.
soft-spoken, crippled old man.
I can project more if you want.
No, you're fine.
Frank, he never says this in person
Behrens
though,
is
Frank.
back
It's
on.
only when you're in a different location, or he knows he would get a little backhand right there.
A little 1-2.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know what that.
There-
Hey,
There we
Matt.
go.
Hey, Matt. This whole time it was
We'll
Frank.
try this
The
again.
main
What a
man.
jerk.
It was all Frank, wasn't it?
Frank the whole time.
About $1 for every time I heard that.
I knew it. I was texting back and forth with Olivia. I'm like, I think it's Frank. I still hear the feedback, and I'm just listening to it.
Yeah, that was totally not you. So
That's some of that flash and ego Matt was talking about, man.
I like how the first thing Matt's moved into his new house is his little gym back there.
Yeah.
See the weights?
Yeah, they're 15-pound weight. I mean, 85-pound weight. Yeah.
is that really
Holding the
what
floor
you
down.
do? Did you put it back there for us to all see it? Is that the whole point of it? You want us to believe?
No, man, I got boxes everywhere. I'm still in moving down here in north of Houston. So I at least finally have internet. It wasn't my fault. It was Frank's.
I own it. Get $1 from Wawa every time I do that.
Man, need to get on that.
Hey, Matt, I couldn't agree with your last paragraph, your last comment that you said. I mean, really, yeah, I mean, it's spot on. With this industry, let's put some egos to the side. Let's teach. Let's collaborate. Let's move this industry forward. I mean, that's what I got from your last comment. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, man, I mean, we can just do so much more together. And I think the collaboration piece has always been missing. It's like I've been talking to Josh a ton, I've been talking to TJ, talking to Frank, talking to all sorts of people across the country. We all have the same problem.
Hang on a second, Matt. Hang on a second. Hey, Frank, turn your volume down again.
I'm muted.
You weren't.
Are you?
Maybe Matt can turn
Literally
us down
said-
too, and then we'll be good.
All right, try it again, Matt. I muted Frank completely.
La la la.
It's Frank.
It's Frank.
Stop.
Frickin' Frank. All right, go ahead, Matt. It's all you, bud.
Hey, he talked for the first half hour. It's my turn now.
That's right.
No, like, I mean, all of us PAs have the exact same problem, right? We're all talking about the same issue over and over. We all have resources that each other needs, and yet none of us want to actually work together. And it was interesting because after the ice storms that kind of went through Dallas and everything, I mean, we talked to John Wood, his dad Don Wood over at Suncoast. They were putting a whole collaboration approach together. Obviously, little beknownst to them, it hadn't really hit the industry as far as the acquisition that we had with All Good and kind of some of the talent there. You ran an amazing firm, and then Frank and I got together, and we just like one of the issues I think for you and a lot of the people that we were working with, Matt, was like, well, what do we do about all these residential plans? And for us, like the natural progression was moving into the commercial because we just started getting better and better and better at it, and that's where the claim flow was. And it wasn't a product of saying, well, screw homeowners, we don't want to help them. We truly did. I mean, we were trying to find something that would obviously service that model, but it takes more than just what one firm can put together. So I think at the end of the day, really because of you kind of standing up too and saying, hey, what do we do about the little guy? There's obviously a need. And then fortuitously, Frank came into the mix, and all of a sudden it was, hey guys, commercial just slows down my process. I can flow 3,000 to 5,000 claims every year. Let's put this thing together. And by the way, it creates a training ground to be able to bring in new adjusters, teach them this business. And as they get better, then it's something that C3 can benefit from too. So the collaboration between all three of these companies, and then having, listen, this will put out so much education content and value out of these folks. Like, we want to help. We want to help clients, the policyholders, the contractors, and each other to really make this industry flourish. Because right now it's just a bunch of mom and pop shops.
I agree. I mean, it was a problem for me switching over to strictly large loss from residential. I mean, we did its cutoff. We decided we're not doing $250,000 and below. And, you know, from a moral standpoint, it was somewhat devastating to do that. You know, there's so many customers of ours that we saved from the brink of disaster, literally. It's hard to walk away from that when most of what we do, we obviously don't do what we do for the money. There's not that much of it. especially in the state that we have. So it was hard to walk away from the residential. And so, yeah, when we made our deal, it was important to me that we find some way of capturing those. So I'm glad that I was talking about it with you. I know that we were talking to several different people, but man, did you nail the right guy. Frank's freaking awesome. Let's see if his audio is better.
I have my microphone down so low that I don't know if you'll hear me.
No, that's perfect. You
I
sound
can
great.
understand you.
I do too.
I got you.
Good deal. Well, I appreciate it, but you get this many people that are passionate about helping people, and it fits in good. And I can tell from the time I've dealt with Matt, like, he doesn't do commercial because that's where the money's at. He's passionate about commercial. There's like this weird side of him that likes to talk about, roofs and, acronyms and TPO and EPMD and all that stuff. So it's cool to see people when they find their passion and where they want to be at too. And
Frank just said EPMD. I'm gonna have to, Frank.
I thought I didn't know what that was for a second. I was like, oh, that's what I didn't know.
It's a new roof. I mean, I'll say Andrew's probably more into that than I am.
Yeah.
I was trying to get out EDM and I messed it up. I was going to make fun of it.
I didn't want to call you out just in case I was wrong. That's funny.
No, I was trying to actually be funny on the fly and got funnier because I got it wrong. My brain was saying EDM. But no, I mean, it's commercial. No, I'm talking about the music. It was going to make him going to
that's a
Burning Man,
band?
basically. Yeah.
You're
Electronic dance music. Anyways, no, it's fun when people find where they're passionate at, man. And it works good,
Well, guys, I mean, like, my background, you all know it. I spent 12 years as a firefighter. I like helping people. I like being there on their worst day. And I think the hardest part was not being able to find the way to scale to be able to do residential and commercial simultaneously when you've got hundreds of commercial claims coming in that you're really, really, really good at, and not being able to have the time to train and all of that stuff. And I think that that's something that, Frank, you've been able to figure out. Matt, you were able to figure out. Those are processes that both of your companies had the ability to work through thousands at a time. I mean, even when we were doing residential, it was 400 to 500 claims, I think, on our best year. But then it just started transitioning into bigger and bigger stuff as we got better. So I'm thrilled for this. I think the processes are there. I think the people are there. We all have fantastic people at our individual companies, and together they're just making better.
Yes, we do. It's amazing how much support you get from a good staff. People think, I realize I'm the face of all good. People have always looked at me like, oh, you got to get Matt Mulholland involved. And then they get mad if I hand it off to somebody else on my team. They don't realize that my team is better than me. You know what I mean?
That goes for me too.
I mean,
100%.
I will if you need me to, but do you really want me to? I mean, I have people that are expert at certain aspects of claims that I'll never be expert at. You can't be an expert at everything. It's impossible. So you have good people that do certain things, certain aspects of everything. Oh, it makes a huge difference. And now my entire team is incorporated into C3, which is fabulous. Thank you so much, Matt. It was really important to me that was part of the deal.
It's a pleasure. You got amazing, amazing people. I know Olivia, the hack, right behind. Well, I guess she's.
Well, you can't have her. She's still mine.
And then Desiree, man, goodness gracious! But you've got some rock stars. So,
Frank, let me ask you this, because you keep bringing up Desiree, Matt, as being my best, and you're probably right. The first thing, what'd you say?
He's definitely right.
Oh yeah.
All right, he's right. There's a certain part of the process that most PAs ignore, and they think that they just need more PAs, and that is the processing, the customer service aspect. One of the first big hires I ever had was my business partner. She became a business partner later on. She bought into the company. That was Desiree Fleming. And without her, we would never have gotten to 3,000 claims a year, ever. It wouldn't have even been thought of or heard of. And it's because we had the processes down. We had people in place that were handling the influx of calls from customers. They were calling out to customers to keep them updated on things. It's insane the amount of effort it takes if you actually want to keep up with your files and make sure that your customers are up to date. How much of what percentage of employees of yours, Frank, are support staff?
About half.
That's about right. That's the way we were too.
I figure it's one high-level administrator for every 2.5 adjusters on average, but then we have all the HR and compliance and paralegals that all kind of work supporting. So yeah, about the short answer, half.
It makes a huge difference, right? What if you didn't have them? If you were just PAs, do you think your PAs would keep in contact with the customers as well?
I would be contacting y'all to see if you would be interested in onboarding my company as a smaller PA.
I mean, that's the biggest key for the volume. You have to have the support staff to make it work, and nobody wants that. They just want to hire more PAs.
Here's the thing, if there's 2 or 3 of the people we work with on right now going, oh, good Lord, Frank, get off the phone and, get off the video and call the client back today. Nobody's got a clean stable. Stables are messy. We produce a lot of work. It's how you respond. Yeah, I was doing a little pun there.
If you can get him down that road, he'll go. So.
It's how you respond to those and how you react. So I hired a personal assistant 2 weeks ago and literally just transferred her over departments 2 minutes before coming into here because our administrative intake liaisons are not hitting a matrix we have to follow to, which is basically don't go home unless a claim's filed. So you constantly got to give. And, the administrative people, they're the ones that make the public adjusters look cool, if you will, if it's possible to look cool as a public adjuster.
Well, PAs are notoriously ADHD. They're going to be really excited about the big claim that they've got that's very interesting, shiny object. And then they're going to ignore the rest of it. If you don't have that support staff there, then the business is going to fail, ultimately.
Yeah, it's a rough time, too, because, right now we have 7 open positions for employment, and it's getting the right people. It's that whole hire slow, fire fast, whatever. Our overturn is very, very low here, but the right people, and then there's things that come along with this, and people go, well, how much does this cost you? Our average staff person is starting in the mid to high teens and going up quickly. So it's expensive too on top of it. But
what are you saying? You're hiring teenagers, mid to high teens?
That's a hard no. That's a hard no.
Hey, what did Floyd Mayweather say? And it was every successful man or woman has a great staff behind them. Something of that effect.
It's
right?
13.
I think that was really close. It was stay down. I think that was the thing.
Okay. But yeah, I think that rings bell with every industry. And I think you hit it on the head. Got to have some
support staff, right, Remington?
Absolutely.
And to be honest with you, that's probably what didn't allow us to be able to scale a model for residential is not the support staff. For us, we're running maybe 10% support, maybe.
That's a big difference for large loss from small claims.
It is because you've got to be so intimate with the claims on commercial stuff. It's like comparing McDonald's and Ruth Chris's as far as volume goes. It's 2 different games.
And nobody can scale a residential model without a good training department either. So the guys that want to do residential aren't new in the industry for the most part. They're green. They haven't done it before. It's a brand new PA that may have some other skill sets, and it's not only finding the right skill set for them, but training them up to what they need to be doing, having claim guidelines for each state because every state's different, and really being if you can't onboard 50 guys a year, you're not going to be able to duplicate that model, and that's what you figured out, Frank.
Yeah.
Well, and to be fair, coming from someone who was the support staff initially, larger loss. They don't want to talk to a support staff. They want to talk to who is handling my file, who spoke to the adjuster, and they want more detailed information, where homeowners, I feel like they want to give their sob story. They want to hear, how upset you are at what is happening for them. So I think that's a big change too in
It's a huge difference.
the support side.
You're right. They do want to talk.
They do.
They do. We don't want to turn them away when they call in like that. So it's not like we're trying to get off the phone with them, but you could end up spending an hour with a customer.
Easy.
Just because they're in a devastating period of their lives. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to them sometimes. That's fine.
And shameless plug here. I had one of my buddies that kind of came up at the same time in the PA side. Ryan James over at Liberty called me today, and I share all my stuff with him and vice versa. And he called me today and he goes, well, 2 years ago when I thought you were completely crazy about your model and your structure and this and that, it's just so you don't think I stole it when you see it. He's like, I'm copying exactly. It's, I try to tell people, like, if from a structural and infrastructure, if I show someone an idea, it's not because I came up with the idea and I feel smart. It's because I did it wrong 4 ways before and realized this was the only way to do it. Well,
learn from our mistakes. Matt, the first time I talked to you, spent an hour and a half with you, literally told you our business model all the way down to our pay plans.
Yep.
It was
Right.
2 hours and 17 minutes. I remember looking at my phone going, who the hell does that? I love this guy.
Yeah.
Teach. There are no secrets.
That stands by his
like-
comment earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, in fact, during that conversation, you're like, I probably shouldn't tell you this.
My team will kill me.
I honestly felt like an amazing investigator because you gave me so much. I thought it was my interrogation skills that got it out of you.
That was it.
Nah, it was a 12-month plan. I got you where I want you.
I feel like John Dye and his wife.
Christian has a comment here or a question.
What would be a good way to implement a support system into a roofing company without irritating customers and staff?
Do it and set the expectation that you're going to do it. And it's for communication. I think the biggest thing in both of our entities, the PA probably even more, from a communication standpoint, although it affects contractors major too, is just communication or lack thereof. So I think make it a point that, hey, we're making this change. There's going to be somebody assigned to your case. We're not treating you like a job number. I'll use Jack Hanks's relationships matter. So for us, we want to make sure that we get you the best possible communication. You know what's going on at all time. This is the process, and set that expectation early.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot unmuted. Okay, cool. A lot of people overlook the fact too, like newer PAs. There's regulatory bodies in every state, and people keep track of insurance statistics. The state actually pays somebody to do this, and if you dig down deep enough, you can find these reports. The average lifespan of an insurance claim, I don't think having a PA involved really increases it all that much, if any. If it's going to litigation, obviously there's dispute there. That's going to likely increase the life of the claim, but average insurance claims living in that 60 to 120 days, regardless of who's working it. And, those are some things that I think set expectations right out of the gates really important, and letting people know that.
I had roughly the same support system when I was a roofing contractor that I did as a PA. I don't think that there's that much difference between them. You still have customers that you're keeping in contact with. If you're a roofing company, the only major difference is that you also have a production manager or someone that schedules the crews and the dumpsters and all that fun stuff. Other than that, it's roughly the same thing. So as long as you don't have your sales staff acting as a support system for your roofing company, do you think that he's asking that implement a support? Put the question back up. What would be a good way to implement a support system? Do you think he means that the support system being a public adjuster? Do you think he means that?
I didn't read it that way.
I didn't either. That would be the answer to that question would be state by state.
Yeah.
That's the answer every time, Frank.
Don't give the attorney the answer of it depends. That's Remington's job.
He took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Yep, right out of it. Hey, I want to make a demand right now on Listen to This Bull. All right?
Sorry,
I might be
you can't.
overreaching here,
I'm not paying you.
but I don't care. I'm making a demand that Listen to This Bull is on the main stage of Win the Storm next year. I think after the performance that occurred, that is what needs to happen. And it needs to be, I think we need to apply pressure. It needs to happen.
After seeing the value add that Matt did in his breakout session, holy crap, that guy belongs in front of the crowd.
I agree.
And it is value.
And he's
100%.
all right.
You guys got me.
No,
blushing.
you did great.
It's going to happen.
Awesome.
Watch. Mark my words.
You got to be up there with me.
I will.
So-
I'll be up there. That's what we did. We did a duo up there, and I had a great time.
Every time Remington's got me, it's always better. It's always better. You know, there's a huge benefit to being able to say, "Hey, you're an attorney. Answer this question."
What's
this
my
must be
Tuesday?
nice for you, Frank, with 4 attorneys on staff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's got to be super nice.
that's cheap.
Do I get to use your attorneys?
Yeah, okay.
Especially with how needed and required compliance is, that's a whole nother show.
Right.
I tell you, while we still have some time on this one too, and I was kind of waiting for Matt earlier to talk about this, and Mulholland kind of ran down the road, but talking to some of the smaller PAs out there and some of the things that we have to offer, and who to reach out to and when to reach out is a big thing. But if there are smaller PAs that are out there, we're interested. And Matt, you speak about this passionately, so I'll let you run with it for a minute.
Oh, yeah, sweet. Put me on the spot. We want to collaborate. We want to help you grow. We want to teach you into the business. We want to, if you're doing residential, and like I was talking to a guy yesterday, he's like, I don't want to cut my teeth on the commercial yet. I turn a bunch away. Don't turn them away. Put them into a system that can help you grow, help train you into that so you understand what's going on. Whether you love sales and marketing, or you love the investigations piece, or you love the negotiation side, or just meeting adjusters and hate everything in between. Like, we talk to guys all the time that are like, hey, I'm really good at sales, but I have to shut sales down to service it, or I have to go get those claims over to an attorney where they've got to go get another 30-40% contingency fee on top of mine just to handle the volume. And then I get through those claims and start the sales cycle over. We are a collaboration that really can help pretty much anybody, no matter what part of the process that you love, and find a place for you in this program. I'll put another one out there. We just worked with Leland Coons out of California. Brought me in personally on a claim down in Texas. He's awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
Probably 2 of the top 5 policy guys are on this podcast right now, not me. He's one of the top 5 that I have ever met.
Easily one of the top 5.
But he's
Yeah.
only in California. And he's like, well, I've got a portfolio with a property manager that owns a bunch of property. He was an attorney as well. I think he's based out in California. But he had a problem claim down in San Angelo. We basically took that from below deductible on a full roof replacement. And inside of the last 3-4 weeks, we just got an offer for already more than what the initial roofer came in, who missed a bunch of stuff. So it's not unjustified, but I mean, we're already above that number. It'll be settled inside of 4 weeks. That's the type of power that we have to be able to work with other PAs. He didn't know how to handle that claim, but he's either faced with turning it away and saying, I can't do anything for you, or maintaining that relationship. In the meantime, he's seeing what's going on. And he's like, I'm going to go get my Texas license. That's awesome. I'll just send you everything. Like, cool. We'll take those relationships too. But
We come across PAs all the time that are really, really good at what they do.
yes.
But they might not be really, really good at marketing what they do.
Yep.
You know, and we want them too, because we need people to service the claims. I mean, there's a lot of PAs out there that are very good at sales, very, very good at bringing in a claim, but they aren't so good at servicing. And you keep saying that they shut down sales in order to service their clients. More often than not, I see that they don't do that, and the clients just suffer instead.
That's unfortunately probably the worst of the outcomes.
Yeah.
Because then I think the tough part there is you get a year down the road. I mean, if you're a roofing contractor and you're falling for that, you have no idea, no clue whatsoever. You're a year down the road with 30 of your clients with that PA who isn't doing anything on the file, you don't know that for 12 months. And all of a sudden they're not returning your phone call. I mean, I talk to guys all the time. It's like, oh yeah, I get updates about once a quarter, maybe after we reached out like 7 times. You should have a portal. You should see what's not going on. You should be BCC'd on every communication. You should be involved in that process the entire time with a PA. If you're referred over as a contractor, you need to know what's going on. You need to be roped into that.
Definitely.
That's another thing too. Like speaking with some of the newer people, and I know this is a pretty common thing. Someone's like 7 months in, and they finally got some clients, and they finally got some stuff going through the wash machine. Most of them don't realize they're in too deep or don't have enough volume until it's time to pull the ripcord and parachute out. And it's listening to podcasts, listening to people talk, and getting into it before either you're so far broke that you can't pay attention, or the claims are so far south that you may not be able to handle them. That also another little thing to kick onto what Matt's saying, and Mulholland mentioned it earlier when we were popping on and off. We don't, a lot of people work really hard at creating their name, their brand, their this. We're not looking to have people work for us. It's with us. If you like your brand, great. We want to help exploit that brand. We want to make it known everywhere, encourage that brand, brother.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to lose your identity to work with us.
That was a big deal for us. I mean, look, we still got a bull. I still got a bull. I love that. So that was a big deal for me. We spent a lot of time.
I'm still waiting for those horns on that bull to be a C and a 3, but nah. I like the colors already.
I'll start working on it.
Perfect.
I told Matt this the other day, that the content on the show, having you, Matt, on here, having Frank on here, and what you guys are saying, like, this stuff is priceless. Like, shame on you if you're a contractor or a public adjuster or an attorney and you don't listen to this content. Seriously.
Yeah,
you should be soaking it up like a sponge.
You should
because
be
this is
to
priceless.
everything we say.
I'm being honestly, guys. This is free good stuff. Yeah. People, I'm telling you, it's gonna. There's nothing but momentum happening, and I'm pumped for what's going to happen here in the future for
So
you guys and for listening to this bull. Really,
so that brings me a question to all you guys. I know there's a couple contractors that asked us towards the end of Win the Storm, how does this look like as a contractor wanting to work with both commercial and residential? What do they do? How do they get involved with us?
Reach out to any of us. Literally. We onboard you onto the same process. We're going to integrate those processes, make sure it's streamlined for you. That actually kind of parlays into the last comment. I forgot who I saw just say that, but with Frank and his communication, it was kind of a running joke because the first time in the last 3 months that I've heard Frank Dalton's voicemail was at Win the Storm, and he called me back 2 seconds later. I had never heard it before. He sounded like he was 30. So we'll all answer our phone. We all put it through the same process. Reach out to any of us.
Yeah, I totally witnessed one of. It's not letting me unmute Mike suddenly. I witnessed one of Frank's internal meetings, and everybody was there, and he lost me on the health insurance part of it. It was extremely boring. But the funny part of it was when he got up on stage and he got behind the podium, he got like 7 phone calls. He answered every single one of them in front of his team. I mean, at first I was like, I can't believe he's doing that. His poor team. And then I thought, but people really appreciate that on the other end. I mean, that's what's really important. The clients are more important. I don't know. There's something about that.
Of course, my
team has been bitching at me for years about that. So
I have a running joke that I say frequently that's not a joke. I don't have a 5th child because I got a phone call. My wife kind of drew the line. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know what? John O'Brien, if you throw his comment up there, John has every reason to be like, oh, Frank's such a jerk. He needs to get on this. Like, we've had some real trudges with his clients in Georgia. And, but, set expectations. We keep pushing, do what you can. But our whole team's like that. It's not just me, but I appreciate the compliments.
So we're going from state to state, and we're expanding from one state to the next. What's the first state we're going to?
Well, we're open anywhere commercially. Frank's already open Florida. I'll let you run through the list and everything, Frank, as far as the stuff that you're open and can have capacity on immediately. But
Well, I mean, I think this, I think over the live and then also the playback would be great to get it from the audience for starters. I mean, we currently are handling claims in Texas, Louisiana, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Pittsburgh. We have a great partner, Philadelphia, sorry, we have a great partner up there. Ohio, Iowa, Wisconsin, Missouri. So
Tulsa,
we're kind of already,
Oklahoma area.
yeah.
Missouri.
So is what we're doing where before we were just helping, like Matt was saying with that relationship that Leland had, where you had a client that was in another state. We were servicing other states because we had repeat clients. Is what we're doing now is taking more of an approach to go statewide because that's what the contractors deserve. As much as I hate this because it's difficult, I owe it to the clients that I already have. So it's Georgia is next. And when, yeah, thanks. I'm only 19 years old in real life. I look like this because of the first half year in Georgia.
Yeah, I'm 19.
Yeah, but so it'll be Georgia and Texas will be the next two heavy hitters. I really do need to get with the two Matts here respectively, and then also our support staffs to get a more formidable plan together for thereafter. But it'll be rapid. Yeah, and John, you are getting the most. You and your bud are getting the most attention right out of the gate. You guys deserve it, but. We're finding that getting specific people in place is good. And then also we're running things through a legal gauntlet as well. And Remington kind of the other night gave me a nice compliment at dinner. But so when we know we're going into a new state with a new model, we like to run an idea all the way up to guillotine, if you will, and let somebody chop its head off to find out if there's failures in it, just to find out good traction points and stepping stones. So again, this is somewhere that I just express, if there's another PA that wants to spend a day in our office or 5 days or 15 days or 235 days, these are the things that most PAs don't realize when they start they need. And by the time they realize they need them, it's so far down the hole. But Georgia and Texas.
Not to mention that we've had this conversation. We will not be doing anything or rolling it out unless we can do it to the best of our ability 100%. It doesn't mean things aren't going to go wrong. Doesn't mean things are going to be a little bit janky sometimes. There's an issue, let us know about it, we'll fix it. We're big about the service side of things. So I think that's the biggest thing between the three of our firms. So let's just do it right.
You can expect a few hiccups as we roll this out. But we're going to work through it. And if you guys hang in there with us, I think that you'll end up with a good result. I think that everybody will end up being happy in the end of this. And you honestly, you can't get better people involved. So this is a good move for everybody.
Agreed.
A compliance model, and once you fix that problem, each of our contractors or support we work with all will have a little bit of different separate rules too. So, it's a lot of, and that's where it goes back to what Josh's statement earlier was. I mean, it's those long-term relationships in the book of business because we put so much support and infrastructure behind each contractor and their needs. It's just important. So,
yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys being on here. If you have a question for any of us or you want to get in contact with us so that you can send some claims to the C3C2 conglomerate, the group, the C3 group. We'll just keep it simple. I'll call it the C3 group. Is that cool with you, Frank? All right.
Perfect.
Bring it to us. Either one of us, you can get in contact with us through Facebook. I think most of you are watching on that anyway. If you have any questions for us, you can post it in the comments. We'll answer it after the fact. But thanks for being on, gentlemen. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of questions that we'll send your way.
Hey, congratulations, guys. I'm pumped. I really am. Good for y'all.
Take care. He's got a phone call. Go figure.
Hey, really, like I said, I'm on the outside looking in. I couldn't be more happier for you guys. It's awesome. It's a big deal. You guys are doing nothing but moving this industry forward in a positive manner, and I love it, man. I really do.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I think that this has been a tremendously good move for us. My team is really excited about it. Everybody's been super happy so far. Say scheduling. Scheduling. I don't get it. Plug the stream times. All right. I'm getting there, man. I mean, calm down. Settle. I'll let you know. So there's going to be, I might as well just do it now.
Go for it.
So next Tuesday at 4, every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern is when we have the Listen to This Bowl live show. Next Tuesday, we got John Dye on. I don't know if Jim Johnson is going to be with him since they just merged. The Contractor Coach Pro and the American Contractor Show
Right.
had their own big announcement over Win the Storm.
We love John Dye.
He's the
John
best.
He's the man.
American Contractor Show. Awesome.
Pretty awesome.
Him and his wife are just such kind, nice people.
Great
We
people.
love them.
So they're going to be on here. They're going to talk about the Storm Summit that is later next week. That we're going to be on. And we're going to go through what that looks like. I did write a honest review. I don't know if it's gotten onto our website yet because the website's new, but we're working on getting all of the articles posted. But there is an honest review if you search through Facebook on my page for...
It's on the website, the first
Is it?
honest review of the summit.
all right,
on there.
great. It's already there. So you can take a look at listentothisbowl.com and take a look at the article section to see an honest review of the American Contractor Summit. And that was the first one that he did. He's doing 4 of these a year. The next one is the Storm Summit, and that has to do with insurance claims, which is why we're speaking at that.
And if you didn't go to the first one, I learned a crap ton.
I mean,
It was
You can
fantastic.
still buy it.
And the best part is you can pause if you have a phone call, you have to do something. It's awesome.
Right.
It's worth it.
You can watch it on your phone.
Yeah.
Quote me if I'm wrong, but
In
isn't
the
it
bathroom.
$99?
Yeah.
It's $99, guys.
Yeah.
That's taking your family to Applebee's. You can watch this whole show.
What do you eat at
At Applebee's?
Applebee's?
I'm talking about TJ Ware's family, guys. Come on, give me
was gonna
give me a
say,
break
cheeky.
here, gosh.
You should weigh
Give me a
500
break,
pounds.
guys.
Spend
God.
$100 at
A little
Applebee's.
hostility on Applebee's. Don't touch
Jeez.
that.
Damn.
I feel like TJ Ware probably has a $100 bill at McDonald's.
I love it. But no, it's definitely bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Good.
No, it's fantastic because you can get a lot out of it, but then you can go back and watch it later, and that's the biggest benefit that I found for it. None of the others allow you to do that unless you pay an exorbitant amount of money. You can get the SPGU for like $3,000. I honestly don't know how much it is. That might be completely off. In order to see some of the stuff that was at the conference previously, and there's a lot of good content on there. Don't get me wrong, but for $99 to see all of these sessions as often as you want for your entire team. I
Well,
think that
and
makes
John
sense.
Ddye's eye for production is just,
Oh, he's got such
phenomenal.
good equipment.
he's just
That
phenomenal.
bastard has everything.
Everything.
Everything. I asked him if he had a good inventory of his stuff while we were at Win This Room, because if some of it walked off, I didn't know if he would notice. He has so much stuff.
If you would have done that to him, I might have murdered you.
I should have done that to myself because I left a camera behind.
Yeah, well, squirrel.
Things happen.
Goldfish memory.
I'm
There you
so
go.
glad you guys feel that way.
Well, I look forward to next week having John on.
It's going to be a
Me
good
too.
show.
It
It's
will
always
be.
good when John's on. So that next week, Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. If you join us live, you can ask questions. We didn't get too many questions today, but that's just because we blew your minds. So that makes sense.
It does.
But the Storm Summit, I think that there's probably going to be a lot of questions on how that works so that you can justify spending $99. Ask him the tough ones. Get on here and say, do I really want to give you $100 to listen to this stuff? And let him answer it. I kind of really want you to push him on it. I think it'll be fun.
I agree. And I'm gonna leave with this. Listen to this bowl main stage next year. It's happening.
I think y'all might have to grease some palms, because that's a big one.
Like I said,
Yeah, we're not greasing palms.
main
so
stage
if they want us on there, they're
next
going to have
year.
to reach out to
It's
us.
happening.
Yeah.
It's going on.
That's not happening. Greasing palms deal. That would be freaking sweet, though.
That's what we're doing.
We'll see what happens. Anthony?
Hey, Anthony, do me a favor. Ask anybody who came to the breakout session this past week and let me know what they think if we should be on the main stage or not.
We should have video from that soon. For those of you that were asking me to get copies of that, the video that we took in the audience, the audio was picking up the feedback from their audio setup, so you can't hear what we say.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything to post, even though I promised you that I would. But when the Storm Group did record it, and once they put it up, I'll be able to post it. So probably the next couple of weeks. I don't know,
Let's
they're a
do
little bit behind on stuff, so it might be a little longer.
They just
but we'll
had
get it
a
up as soon as we
massive thing go down.
can. Yeah,
Give
it was a
them
big
break.
deal.
It was kind of a big
Kind
deal.
of a big deal. So I'll give them a little leeway, I guess.
There you go.
All
All
right.
right, guys.
Have a good
See you
one,
next
guys.
week.
We'll see you next
Take
week.
care.